Now, this is all happening as calls to release the memo alleging surveillance abuse by federal officials intensifies. Here with me now to discuss Harmeet, Dhillon, trial attorney, Vince Colanese, the Daily Caller editorial director, and Tammy Bruce is back as well. Harmeet, let me start with you. I cannot keep up. I mean, you talk about a saga and a drama. This is like 12 soap operas in one, except, you know, at the center of it all is American security and our reliance or our belief that our intelligence communities are working for the people and not themselves.
Absolutely, Charles. I mean, there's so much here to be concerned about. For one thing, how do these messages go missing? How are we hearing about it months after this investigation started? Why do these two still have their job? Why do they have a security clearance? Why didn't the investigators who've been looking into this whole situation, or anybody at the FBI or Department of Justice, seize their devices, seize their phones, and image them, just like I would do in any kind of corporate spying investigation? So all of this is shocking. I'm not buying that it was accidental. And I think there is a lot more to be said than what we've heard so far from the Department of Justice about this.
Of course, Vince, last Friday, it was released. The memo was the big topic, that 4-page memo written by Representative Nunes, that everyone who's seen it has said is shocking and has actually, to a degree, threatened their belief in the foundation of our country. It's shaken them to the core. And then, of course, Friday night, this letter was sent to you know, hey, listen, by the way, we lost a few texts.
Yeah, and that's not good. I mean, the sort of all of these news stories at once, and again, the allegations about the memo coming from even the most sober Republican lawmakers who are saying, look, this is shocking. I went down to the SCIF. I saw this memo. This needs to be released to the public. We've heard several congressmen make very dire comparisons to famous historical events with this memo. So obviously, I don't suspect they're overselling it, but I hope they're not in terms of just finding out the raw information. And then when it comes to these texts, I think what it's doing is it's undermining the ability of the American people ultimately, and I mean the actions that were taken within the Justice Department and the FBI, in their ability to have confidence in their Justice Department. And that's not a good thing. These are brazen acts of bias, and that can't be the type of behavior that we find in our investigators. They need to be disinterested.
Just renegade, you know, run away, and then you know, Tammy, it's these things where secret societies.
Outrageous.
It's scary.
This is not just about bias, though. It's not just about people making bad decisions.
This is acting on bias.
It's acting on it, but then you're also looking at cover-ups, the subversion. My goodness, Charles, the subversion of the American government. Let's be honest here. What else are you going to call that? It's not bias. And this is where the media has dropped the ball. That's the other huge scandal here, where there's no real. And this is what I love about your show and being on this show, Charles, with even this panel. Someone like Harmeet Dhillon is the kind of individual who should be in Washington. That the people from the swamp who have been doing all of this kind of stuff. And here is that woman. Many of us know her from Twitter. Does a great job. There's so much talent in this country. So it's not just about incompetence, like perhaps the Hawaiian situation is with the false alarm. But I think that's also not clear to us yet. But actual subversion and attempts to subvert the will of the people. In normal life, that's called treason. And this whole kind of backup about this nature of, oh, we've got to kind of look at it and do an investigation. My goodness, this is serious. And I'm hoping that the Trump administration sees this and the importance of, in fact, moving more people out,
well, we'll
taking
see,
it seriously, and moving
Jeff
good
Sessions
people
has been under a lot of pressure. A lot of people don't think he's doing enough. Harmeet,
exactly.
You know, I said bias and then action on the bias. Perhaps we don't know yet conclusively if there was action taken on the bias, but certainly reading between the lines of the tweets that we have been able to see, it feels like there was some sort of plan, some sort of alternative plan, just in case President Trump was elevated to the White House. And now people are wondering, particularly with the FISA situation, the unmasking situation, who knew what and what degree of possible cover-up is going on.
We're just scratching the surface here, but today some messages came out. I think it was Senator Wyden who read them out, where Lisa Page is actually instructing Peter Strzok how to communicate with her in a way that evades detection by other people in the FBI. This is a conspiracy. And if there has been destruction of evidence, it's a felony. And I am, like I said, shocked that these people still have their jobs. I mean, they should be getting intense questioning, much more so than some of the people that in the administration whose time is being wasted in this other Russia investigation sideshow.
Well, thank you all very much. I agree with Tammy, but I think all three of you guys could be in D.C. doing a better job for us. Appreciate it. Thanks.